All right, welcome back. We're going to continue working on our temp app. Previously, we were able to go ahead and created our UI, our user interface. So we created and added text, buttons, and everything and so forth, and everything looks great, as you can see. Now we want to be able to then tie everything together into our main activity here. Now, I took the liberty and went online and found the formulas from Wikipedia. So there's a link here that will help us to actually convert values from Fahrenheit to Celsius, Celsius to Fahrenheit, as you can see here. So this is what we're going to use. Excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First thing we do, we're going to go ahead and create our instance variables so that we can fetch all of these widgets here, edit text, buttons, and everything in our Java code. So we say private. The first thing we're going to say edit text, and we're going to call it temp edit text. Okay, next we're going to say private button. We're going to call cell button. This is the button that we're going to use for our Celsius button. So when you click on that, and then it's going to convert to Celsius. Going to import our button there. So private button, Fahrenheit button this time. So F button, and then private again. Text view. We're going to call show temp text view, and Alt enter or Option enter to import our text view as we've been doing. Excellent. So we have that. Now inside here of our onCreate, I'm going to go ahead and wire everything up. So we're going to start with the temp edit text is equal to, I'm going to go ahead and cast that and say find view by ID r.id dot, and we're going to go and get our temp. We call this edit text. That's the ID we gave. And next we're going to go and say cell button is equal to its type of button. So find view by ID r.id dot, we call it Celsius button ID down there. Next we go to F button. You get the gist here. So type of button again, and view by ID r.id dot, we call F button, I think F button D as it's there. And then we're going to go ahead and get our show temp text view. It's a text view type. So find view by ID r.id dot text view. Perfect. All right, so we got it all. Now let's go ahead and set up our buttons. Set up our buttons here. So it's going to be event listeners. All right, so the first thing we do, we're going to say cell button dot set on click, and new view dot on click listener. It always does this. So just get rid of all of this stuff here. And curly braces, and we go right click to generate and override methods. Go to view on click here, get on click. So there it is, perfect. And let's do the same thing to our FB button. So that's set on click listener. There's a better way to do this, but for now, just let's do this way. So new view dot on click listener, and there it is. And of course we do the same thing, right click. In fact, let's give a space here. So right click, generate override methods, go and click there. All right, we will create two methods. One is going to be called convert to Celsius, which will take in an integer as a parameter, and then it will return an integer, which is going to be the result of our conversion. We'll do the same thing for Celsius and Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's go ahead and create this function now. So outside our on create here, we're going to go and create our method. So the first one is going to be public. It's going to be of type integer because it's going to return an integer. In this case, it's going to say L. Going to call it convert to Celsius. I'm going to take int. It's going to be far val for Fahrenheit value. And for now, I'm going to return 0 so that Android Studio doesn't complain. So public int convert to Fahrenheit. So the int cell val. Okay, return 0 for now. Excellent. So obviously inside of here, this is where we're going to call convert to Celsius function. And over here, we're going to call convert to Fahrenheit method. Perfect. Okay. Now we have to remember that the edit text may not have text inside there. So if user sometimes, ends up clicking, cell button or the Fahrenheit button, and they forgot to actually insert something into the text view, into the edit text, then that would make no sense, right? We have to figure out a way to validate, make sure that they've entered something before we start calculating things. First thing, we're going to go ahead and create and get the value of our edit text. Okay, so we know it's going to be a string, so let's go ahead and say string edit text val is equal to, then we can say temp edit text that get text dot to string, convert it to string, because as we talked earlier, if we just go temp edit text that get text, it's just going to give us this weird gibberish, right? We want to convert that into string. Excellent. So now whatever it's typed in inside of our edit text is going to be into our edit text value here. Perfect. It's always a good idea to do this so that we actually assign things into variables, so it's easier to then manipulate and use them. Now let's go check to see if that edit text value is empty, or if it, so we can say if, now edit text value, remember this is the edit text val now holds everything that is inside our edit text. So we're checking if that edit text that is empty, so if there's nothing there, then we know something is not right. So we're gonna go ahead and let the users know they have to do something. So toast that make text, so we're gonna say get application context, enter a value, and then we're gonna say toast dot long and show. You've seen the toast before, and we haven't really talked a lot about what's going on here, but just know this will just show those little messages that tells the user what's going on. We'll talk more about this, so don't worry about it for now, okay? Alright, so else we know that we have something, that the edit text temp edit actually has something, so we're good. Perfect. Now notice also that the edit text always returns a string. Well, once we've converted it, it's going to be a string, right? Now obviously we can't multiply strings by strings or by anything else. In order to do operations, you have to either have integers or doubles or floats and so forth. So that means we also have to go ahead and convert that string we received into an integer. So how do we do that? Well, what do we do? Let's create another integer here. We can say int that will hold our converted value. We can say int edit text, let's name that, is equal to, then we said edit and call the integer object. So we're going to say integer, as you can see, dot parse. So we've got a lot of different functions that we can call, but we want to parse, we want to convert. So parse whatever we got here, which is a string. So edit text value, and we put inside there. So now what we've done, we've taken that string. Let's say they put 48 in our edit text. Well, we're going to take that and convert that into an integer so we can work with it. Perfect. Now, we do this because, as we said here, all of these functions, methods that we created that will then convert whatever we need into Celsius or Fahrenheit, they need to have an integer, as we've specified here. Therefore, this is what we need in order to then pass it in here so that then we can do our work. Excellent. So at this point, obviously, we are on the cell button, which means when they click this button here, we have to convert whatever it's inside Celsius, which also means that we go ahead, have to call convert to Celsius, and we can pass in this here, this value. So copy that and pass, and there it is. Isn't that great? Clearly, we can go ahead and do the same with our Fahrenheit. So again, we can go ahead and say string edit text val, and notice we are okay to use the same variable name because we are in a different function here. So we're gonna say then temp edit text dot get text dot to string. Perfect. So we got it. Now we're gonna check if edit text val that is empty. Then we're gonna say toast dot make text get application context and all of that, and we say enter a value. Okay, and then we say toast dot make dot long, and then don't forget to show it. So else, then we know all is good. All is good. That means we go ahead and say int edit text is equal to, again, integer dot parse int, of course, and we pass in our edit text value. And then, of course, we can go ahead and call convert to Fahrenheit, and we pass in the int edit text, which is the converted. Now it's an integer. Wonderful. You did a great job. Obviously, we haven't implemented anything in our convert to Celsius and convert to Fahrenheit, but now you have everything set up to start converting things. So in the next video, we're going to go and then create the actual formulas and all the calculations inside of these two functions. Good. See you in the next video.